should never bring food on a plane. That's what somebody told me. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Sight Sounds Flavors on YouTube, sightsoundsflavors.com. If at any point in time you like the video, smash that like button. It really helps the channel. Hit that like button. Also, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell for notifications. We talk about all things travel, music, food, everything here. So be sure to subscribe and ring that bell for notifications and leave a comment. Comments are what make this channel shine. So somebody told me that I should never bring food on a plane. Now, mind you, I had brought trail mix and I had bought in a beverage. As long as you buy the beverage within the terminal, there's no problem. This is a cigarette, by the way. And you can't smoke on planes, and you can't smoke at the airport really unless you go to a private lounge or something. But the point is, if you buy a meal in the terminal, you can bring it in. If you bring a meal from home in Tupperware and TSA doesn't have an issue, which they don't, you can eat it on the plane. So to me, I get it. Some people don't like the idea of like bringing a bucket of KFC or something because fried chicken tends to go everywhere, the scent. Maybe they don't like if you bring, I mean, the point is that you have to tolerate it, right? You have got to tolerate it. I mean, this is a fine rule for a person. If they don't ever want to bring food on a plane, that's fine. But if I bring it or anybody else brings it, you have to get used to it. Because, I mean, this is again, like part of being a grown-up. You don't get to, create rules that cater to your personal comfort zone and everybody else has just got to deal with it. This is actually an example of not just talking about something, it's about kind of like looking at it, from all aspects. And the video may get 100 views, it may get 1,000, it doesn't matter. I think that this is a very interesting topic that comes up a lot in conversation. And you can get those nasty Karen Darren looks on a plane if you bring a meal. And it's weird because they don't have an issue so much if you buy the crappy snacks the airline sells, because if it's a 2-3 hour flight, they're not going to have anything hot. You know what I mean? I'm sure it still has a scent like the Doritos or the Chex Mix. For some reason, they have an issue with that. I think it's because you know what I think it is in a kind of a weird way? I think it comes down to envy. Because, see, if they wanted to get the trail mix, or if they wanted to get the Doritos, or if they wanted to get the Toblerone or the sauce, whatever, they could get it. What they can't get is probably that delicious meal that you brought. Maybe you brought a Whopper. Maybe you brought some KFC. Maybe you brought, some airports have Little Caesars. So now all they can have is like whatever's on that cart, and you're feasting away. Plus, the other thing is, they don't have to wait for that cart to come by. You, who bring the food with you, have the freedom of eating it at any point you want. You can even eat it on the ascent, because even though you must remain seated, and it's a very serious part, the flight attendants are strapped in. They can't see you eating that chicken wing. The person next to you might, and they might have chicken wing envy, but you're not breaking any rules. You can eat that chicken wing, and you can just suck on that bone all you want. I mean, you can suck on it. You know what I mean? And then you can lick your fingers. You know what I mean? And then you can suck at your teeth. And they can't do anything about it. And to a Karen and a Darren, well, I guess that would be if they had multiple personalities, right? To a Karen or a Darren, well, actually, no, but there's people that identify as they, right? So they could be Karen and Darren all in one. So whatever. The point is, to a Karen or a Darren, that is like hell on earth. You're over there, they're like strapped into like a seat. I mean, they don't have anything to eat, and they look over at you, and you're inhaling the skin off that chicken wing. You're enjoying the meat. I don't even eat meat. I haven't had meat in since I was 15, and I'm 46, 31 years. But I'm having flashbacks. And you're just eating that soft meat, and you're enjoying that fried skin, that made by the Colonel. And then when you're done with it, you just go after that bone. I mean, you bob on that bone. You know what I mean? And then you're like, yeah, like that. Like like the Father on Friday. No, that wasn't the Father on Friday. That was, I believe that was the Barber on Barbershop, the one that didn't pay no booth rental. You know, you give me a quarter, man, I'll let you have a scoop of these macaroni and cheese. But the point is, though, is, you know, it's just one of those things. You know, it's just one of those things. I think, though, when it comes down to it, it comes down to an issue of tolerance. And I feel like, you know, it can be a little uncomfortable to travel with food, like unless it's in a bag. Like if they just give you the container, you got to hold that thing. But even in the bag, you want to make sure that it's not going to come open, you know. Now, if you have a sandwich, hey, if you've got a burger, a sandwich is nicely like wrapped in there, and you got yourself some fries nicely wrapped in there, and maybe I wouldn't put a beverage in there unless it's a warm beverage. But that's just weird. I wouldn't put a beverage in there at all. But and then you've got it in a nice, good bag. I mean, that's not an inconvenience at all. Some people will actually have Tupperware, but Tupperware is still, you're eating cold food because they're not that. I don't know if any airline is going to warm up your food for you, you know, unless maybe you're in like first class. But then you don't have to even worry about the cart or whatever because you can get a warm meal and you can get whatever you want on a snack cart anytime, as many times as you want. That's like the benefit of first class. Of course, not in the ascent or descent, but that's like all of 20 minutes of the flight. But I mean, when you buy a nice warm meal, and I think honestly, I don't want to come out here promoting bringing your own food on a plane. But let me tell you something. You bring a nice meal from the airport, you know, because they've got some good food there. I mean, I'm not kidding. I'm not being facetious. They've got really good stuff at big airports. You bring that on the plane, I mean, you could have a feast. I mean, and it's not bad because, I mean, it's like, the thing is that, you know, when you're on a plane and you're moving around, it's like you don't have any kind of like feeling of stability. I mean, really, you feel like you're like on a yo-yo or something. I mean, I don't know. You just feel like you're in constant motion. And there's something about sitting down, you know, especially if you're in an aisle or window seat, because the middle seat sucks. But if you're in one of those seats, you know, put the tray down like that, and you have a meal. It's kind of like cool in that sense, because you really feel like you're at home. You know what I mean? And especially if you have to work, it gets old really fast. But then to have a Karen or a Darren staring you down from, you know, 3 aisles over, you know, you're not doing anything wrong. And you don't need to ask, that's the other thing, you don't need to ask permission for what's allowed. You know, you don't have to put yourself in, because now you're not asking for permission, you're asking for a blessing. You're asking for that Karen or that Darren to say, you may eat your food, you know? And screw that, you know? If it's allowed, you don't need to ask for permission. I get that it's a nice, polite thing to do, but you have to be very, very aware that there are people that will say, yes, I do mind. Which is, it should be a rhetorical question, but it isn't. They will actually answer you. And then if you do it anyways, then now you look like a jerk, because why would somebody ask if it's okay, and when said it's not okay, then go and do it anyways, you know? Best thing is just not to ask and just eat. But what say you?